Bahaye ikaze nanone mwe mukurikiye Tik-Tak TV. Nizere ko mumeze neza cyane, nizere ko muherereye hirya no hino hari amahoro. Mbahaye ikaze muri kiganiro nkuko mubibona mu mashusho agiye atandukanye, turimo kugenda tunyuzamo n'inama y'abakuru b'ibihugu bateraniye muri Tanzania, Dar es Salaam. Nkuko mubibona Perezida Paul Kagame niwe umaze kuhagera, yasanze Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, yasanze Samia Suluhu Hassan, yasanze Mnangagwa wa Zimbabwe, yasanze William Ruto, yasanze uwa Zambia ndetse n'uwa Somalia. Bakaba bamaze kuhagera nkuko murimo kubona muri aya mashusho. Hanyuma uyu muhango muraza kuwukurikira live kugeza urangiye, ariko mu gihe murimo kubona utangira ndetse abantu barimo kuhagera bamwe na bamwe, ndagira ngo mbagezeho mu ncamake iki kiganiro ibyo kigiye kwibandaho ndetse n'ibyavuye mu nama y'abaminisitiri b'ububanyi n'amahanga babanje ku munsi w'ejo. Iyi nama ni ukuvuga ngo abakuru b'ibihugu bagiye gukomereza cyangwa se bagiye gushimangira cyangwa se kuvugurura imyanzuro yamaze gufatwa n'abaminisitiri b'ibi bihugu, ndavuga Sadec ndetse na EAC. Ni ku kibazo tubyibuke cy'uburasirazuba bwa Kongo, nicyo kibazo barimo kwigaho. Bafashe imyanzuro igera muri 5. Muri iyo myanzuro 5 tugiye kuza gatoya tuyigarukeho. Kanumva microphone yanjye hari urimo kumbwira ko itameze neza, hanyuma tugaruke mu kanya gatoya tureba ibintu 5 abaminisitiri umwanzuro bafashe cyangwa imyanzuro bafashe igizwe n'ibintu 5 n'ibiki muri rusange. yego nk'uko nabivugaga mu kanya nari ndimo kubabwira ko mu nama y'abaminisitiri b'ububanyi n'amahanga bateranye ku munsi w'ejo bafashe imyanzuro igera muri 5 ariyo ngiye kubabwira. Muri iyi myanzuro niyo itumye cyangwa se niyo abakuru b'ibihugu bari buze kugenderaho bateranye muri iyi nama, niyo bari buze kugenderaho bagena umwanzuro rusange ugomba kuba ugize ibyaranze iyi nama y'uyu munsi. Ariko muri rusange yego, hanyuma uyu munsi rero nk'uko mubibona abaperezida bitabiriye iyi nama ya EAC igize abakuru b'ibihugu bo muri EAC ndetse n'abo muri Sadec, nubwo bose batitabiriye hari n'abitabiriye ku ikoranabuhanga nka Antoine Felix Tshisekedi akaba atabaye muri iyi nama ndetse na Evariste Ndayishimiye. Aka kanya rero bakaba bari mu mwanya wo gufata amafoto, nyuma yaho rero bakabona gukomeza. Biteganyije ko abari buze kuvuga kuko badashobora kuba bose ndavuga kuri kamera cyangwa se live, kubera ko iyi nama n'ubundi iramara ikomereze mu biganiro bisanzwe bitari kuri kamera, ariko barabanza bahe ikaze press muri rusange. Bageze umwanya rero w'amafoto. Hanyuma rero mbere y'uko mbareka kugira ngo mwumve uko biri bugende na discours zavugiwe hano hantu, ikintu cya mbere bagarutseho cyane, havuze abaperezida babiri birumvikana, uhagarariye EAC ariwe William Ruto ndetse n'uhagarariye Sadec ariwe Mnangagwa wa Zimbabwe. Aba bombi cyane cyane William Ruto yagarutse avuga ko igisubizo cy'umurasirazuba bwa Kongo kidashobora kubonekera mu ntambara cyangwa se mu buryo bwa military, ahubwo ibintu byose biva mu biganiro. Iyi ni disikuru y'abakuru b'ibihugu ubu ngubu uko mubibona, bakaba barimo kwinjira ibintu bitanu rero abaminisitiri b'ububanyi n'amahanga ku munsi w'ejo bibanze. Ikintu cya mbere bavuze ko M23 igomba kuganira na leta ya Kongo, cyangwa se leta ya Kongo igomba kwemera, kubera ko M23 buri gihe ihora yiteguye kuba yaganira na leta ya Kongo. Abaminisitiri ku munsi w'ejo rero mu myanzuro yabo yasohotse bavuze ko DRC cyangwa se Kongo igomba kwemera ikaganira n'umutwe wa M23. William Ruto uyu munsi yabishimangiye, aravuga ati kuganira ntabwo ari faiblesse, cyangwa se ibiganiro ntabwo ari inzira ya faiblesse cyangwa se yo kugaragaza kudashobora. Ntabwo ari cyo bisobanuye. Ati ahubwo ibiganiro nibyo mbona, ati abategetsi bari hano cyangwa se abaperezida bari hano mu nyemerere nk'uko mbitekereza, ndatekereza ko ibiganiro aribyo bishobora kumara iyi ntambara iri mu burasirazuba bwa Kongo. Arongera ashimangira ko ubwo ndavuga imyanzuro y'abaminisitiri b'ububanyi n'amahanga ku munsi w'ejo, baba ba Sadec ndetse n'aba EAC, kubera ko nabo bateraniye i Dar es Salaam muri Tanzania mu nama yo gushakira ibisubizo iyi ntambara iri kubera mu burasirazuba bwa Kongo. Ubu ngubu bageze mu mwanya wo kuririmba indirimbo zubahiriza iyi miryango yombi, hanyuma nibatangira kuvuga ndaza kubareka mu byiyumvire. Hanyuma ikindi kintu cya kabiri, bavuze ko ibiganiro bya Nairobi bigomba gusubukurwa. Bati ibi biganiro hari uburyo byagiye bigura intege, ariko ibiganiro bigomba gusubukurwa. Icyo ni ikintu cya kabiri. Ikindi kintu cya gatatu, bavuga ko bagomba leta ya Kongo igomba kubishyiramo imbaraga, bagahuza cyangwa se bakareba uburyo ibiganiro birimo gukorwa ku mpande zombi, yaba ibiganiro bya Rwanda. Murabizi ko ibiganiro bya Rwanda cyane byibanda ku mutekano cyangwa se ku makimbirane cyangwa se ku mubano utari mwiza uri hagati y'u Rwanda na Kongo, bihagarariwe na perezida n'ubundi wa Angola João Lourenço. Bati umwanzuro wa gatatu, bati ibiganiro bigomba kureba uburyo bihura, ibiganiro bya Rwanda n'ibiganiro bya Nairobi. Ibiganiro bya Nairobi ku bantu mutabizi ni ibiganiro byari bihagarariwe n'umuhuza, cyangwa se n'ubu ngubu bihagarariwe n'umuhuza Kenyatta, Uhuru Kenyatta wahoze ari perezida wa Kenya. Hanyuma ibiganiro ni ibiganiro bihuriramo imitwe yitwaje intwaro itandukanye mu burasirazuba bwa Kongo cyangwa se muri Kongo muri rusange. Ibiganiro biba birebera hamwe cyangwa se biba byibanda cyane ku mutekano n'ubundi wa Repubulika Iharanira Demokarasi ya Kongo, by'umwihariko uburasirazuba bw'iki gihugu. Ibi biganiro rero bikaba bimaze iminsi bitaba. Ubwo biheruka nibwo umutwe wa M23 wari wamaze gufata Bunagana, hanyuma Kongo yanga ko abangaba bitabira iyi mishikirano yari irimo kuba muri Nairobi. Kongo ivuga ko abangaba batagomba kuyitabira kuko ari imitwe w'iterabwoba nk'uko babivuga. Kongo barimo kuririmba indirimbo zubahiriza ibihugu zombi cyangwa se imiryango yombi, EAC ndetse na Sadec. Hanyuma aba baminisitiri ba EAC nk'uko ndimo kubivuga bakaba bafashe uyo mwanzuro. Mu myanzuro bafashe, iyi myanzuro mbibutse kuko ni imyanzuro igiye gusuzumwa n'abakuru b'ibihugu, bashobora kuyivugurura, bashobora kugira icyo bongeramo, bashobora kugira icyo bakuramo. Niyo mpamvu murabona uyu nguyu ni minisitiri w'intebe w'u Burundi, akaba ariwe waserukiye Evariste Ndayishimiye, utabashije kugera muri iyi nama, ndetse na online cyangwa se mu buryo bw'ikoranabuhanga akaba atabashije kuboneka, mu gihe uyu nguyu murimo kubona Felix Antoine Tshisekedi wabashije kwitabira iyi nama mu buryo bwa online. Ariko n'ubundi na minisitiri w'intebe Suminwa akaba ahari hano muri Tanzania, Dar es Salaam, nawe akaba ahari, nubwo na perezida nawe yayitabiriye mu buryo bw'ikoranabuhanga cyangwa se online. Hanyuma uyu niwo mwanzuro wa gatatu wa minisitiri bafashe. Umwanzuro wa kane, bavuze ko hagomba gutegurwa uburyo bushoboka bwose mu kurandura FDLR. Ati ubu buryo bwo kurandura FDLR bukaba buzatuma n'ubundi leta y'u Rwanda nayo ikuraho ingamba zo kwirinda cyangwa se zo kwicungira umutekano. Ibi ngibi rero maze kuvuga ko ari bine, bahise bavuga ko abakuru b'ingabo cyangwa se abagaba bakuru b'ingabo b'ibi bihugu byose, ari ibigize EAC, ari ibigize Sadec, ko bagomba guhura vuba na bwangu mu minsi 5. Ati muri iyi minsi 5 aba bagaba bakuru b'ingabo bagomba kuba bamaze guhura. Guhura kwabo kuzaba kugize gushira mu ngiro ibyo abangaba bamaze kwiga, ndavuga abaminisitiri b'ububanyi n'amahanga, nibiza gushimangirwa n'ubundi n'abaperezida muri iyi nama, cyangwa se nibagira n'ico bahindura n'ubundi abagaba bakuru b'ingabo b'ibihugu bigize Sadec ndetse na EAC bagomba kwicara hamwe, hanyuma bagashira mu ngiro ibi ngibi bizaba byasohowe. Ikindi kandi bagomba gushiraho n'uburyo bagomba gukorana mu kurandura uyu mutwe wa FDLR mu buryo budasubigwaho burundu. Hanyuma rero aka kanya nk'uko mubibona, inama ikaba itangiye. Reka mbareke mubashe kuyikurikira. Ikintu bari buhereho ni ukwakira birumvikana abakuru b'ibihugu, ndetse bahereye ku musangwa ariwe Sami Asuru Asani. Hanyuma ikindi kintu nshobora kubibutsa nuko nyuma yo gusuzuma ibingibi byizwe na ba minisitiri b'ububanyi n'amahanga bagize ibihugu bitandukanye, ni ukuvuga ngo mu minsi 5 abagabo bakuru b'ingabo bazahura. Nibamara guhura, ubwo ngubwo tuzamenya igihe ikurikiraho. Ariko nanone nyuma y'iyi nama hariyo bari bukorere kuri media, ariyo tugiye kureba. Nyuma yaho baraza gusaba media kubaha umwanya mu cumba abakuru b'ibihugu bakore inama, navuga ngo mu mwiherero. Hanyuma nibamara gukora inama, hari imyanzuro iri busohoke. Noneho iyo myanzuro iraza kuba noneho yo ari final itandukanye n'iy'abaminisitiri b'ububanyi n'amahanga. Ubwo ibyavuyemo biraza kumenyekana, ibyongewemo biraza kumenyekana, niba hari n'ibivugururwa nabyo biraza kumenyekana. Reka mbareke mukurikire uyu muhango uko
His Excellency Dr. William Samuel Ruto, CGH, President of the Republic of Kenya and Chairperson of the East African Community. Up here, we also have His Excellency Dr. Emmerson. His Excellency Hassan Sheikh Mohamud, President of the Federal Republic of Somalia. His Excellency Paul Kagame, President of the Republic of Rwanda. His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, President of the Republic of Uganda. His Excellency Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, President of the Republic of Zambia. In our midst, we also have His Excellency, the Chairperson of the African Union Commission, Musa Faki Mohammed. We have His Excellency General Gervais. We have His Excellency Ambassador Tete Antonio, Minister of External Relations, Republic of Angola, representing the President, His Excellency João Manuel Gonçalves Lourenço, President of Republic of Angola. We have Honorable Deng Alo Kuo, Minister of East African Community Affairs of the Republic of Sudan, representing His Excellency Salva Kiir Mayarditi, President of the Republic of Sudan. We have Honorable Nancy Gladys Tembo, President of the Republic of Sudan. Foreign Affairs of the Republic of South Africa, Honorable Mula, representing His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa, President of the Republic of South Africa. Foreign Affairs of the Republic of South Africa, Honorable Mula, representing His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa, President of the Republic of South Africa. Minister of the Armed Forces in the Republic of Madagascar, representing His Excellency Andry Rajoelina, President of the Republic of Madagascar. Those were their excellencies, and up here we have the Honorable Professor Amon Muwira, Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Trade of the Republic of Zimbabwe and Chairperson of the Sadec Council of Ministers. Up here we also have His Excellency, the Right Honorable Dr. Musahila Mudavadi, Prime Cabinet and Secretary for Foreign and Diaspora Affairs, Republic of Kenya, and Head of the East African Community Delegation of Ministerial Session. I would like to recognize all the honorable ministers and the deputies in the room. And up here, I would like to recognize the Secretary General of the East African Community, Her Excellency, my apologies. Let me start by recognizing His Excellency, Mr. Elias Mahosi, the Executive Secretary of Sadec, and Her Excellency, Madame Veronica Nduva, CBS Secretary General of the East African Community. Apologies, my sister, I forgot your name, but I have it. Senior officials from all SADC member states represented here, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome. Our program will be as follows. We are going to have welcome remarks from our host president, Her Excellency Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, President of the United Republic of Tanzania. This will be followed by the statements from the chairpersons from the East African Community, and the Southern African Development Community. I will present their name after Her Excellency gives us the welcome remarks. Your Excellency, you have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, Dr. Emmerson Dambuzo Mnangagwa, President of the Republic of Zimbabwe and Chairperson of Sadec. Your Excellency, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya and Chairperson of East African Community. Fellow heads of state and government from EAC and SADC partner state and member states, Honorable Ministers, Honorable Veronica Nduva, Secretary General of East African Community, Your Excellency Mr. Elias Mpedi Magosi, the SADC Executive Secretary, distinguished delegates, good morning. It gives me a great pleasure and honor to welcome you all to the United Republic of Tanzania, and more specifically to the city of Dar es Salaam, the haven of peace, for this crucial joint EAC SADC summit convened to deliberate on the prevailing security situation in the Eastern DRC. Tanzania is profoundly honored to host this high-level meeting and remains eternally committed to the objective of promoting peace and security within the region and beyond. Similarly, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to the Executive Secretary of East African Community and SADC and their entire teams for effectively coordinating this meeting within a short time. Excellencies, as we are all aware, DRC, a member of both the EAC and SADC, is still facing prolonged conflicts whose impact has transcended its borders and so creating far-reaching effects in neighboring countries. For the last couple of weeks, we have witnessed the spread of violence that has caused massive harm to human life, human displacement, and insecurity, which affected economic activities and disrupted cross-border trades. As regional leaders, history will judge us harshly if we remain still and watch the situation worsen day by day. And in line with the principle of African solutions for Africa's problems, our countries have a collective responsibility to ensure we urgently address the existing security challenges that have heavily impacted the well-being of innocent civilians. This joint summit meeting presents an opportunity to recommit our collective efforts in addressing the conflicts and reaffirm our sustainable peace and stability in the entire EAC and SADC regions. It is crucial that we find a durable solution that upholds sovereignty, promotes inclusivity, and ensures that the people of DRC can enjoy durable peace and security that they have been yearned for decades. Excellencies, as a steadfast advocate for peace in Africa, Tanzania is deeply concerned about the persistent insecurity in Eastern DRC. The ongoing conflict not only destabilizes our brotherly nation, but also put serious dents on our consistent efforts to enhance regional integration. My country remains committed to supporting ongoing diplomatic initiatives to end conflicts in Eastern DRC, and so we call on all parties involved in the DRC conflict to positively engage in negotiations, prioritize the well-being of its people, and commit to peaceful coexistence. Excellencies, our gathering here in Dar es Salaam should be an opportunity for us to have serious reflections and engage constructively on what needs to be done to assist our fellow member states in addressing security challenges. Despite the woven complexity of the matter we are dealing with, we should be confident that this meeting will come up with concrete proposals and measures to urgently address the existing challenges so as to avoid an impending humanitarian catastrophe. As active members of EAC and Sadec, we have to remain resolute in our quest to see peaceful and stable regional blocs, with our countries standing tall and harmoniously coexisting. It is therefore my humble request to you, my colleagues, let us be united in our efforts to end violence, foster stability, and create an environment where peace, security, and development can thrive. With these few remarks, I once again extend my warmest welcome to all of you and wish you productive deliberation. Asante sana, thank you very much. Merci beaucoup, obrigado. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Excellency, President of the United Republic of Tanzania. I would like to make an apology to the Republic of South Sudan. I think in my presentation I slipped off and omitted the South. Honorable Den Aloy Kuo, Minister of East African Community Affairs. He's from Republic of South Sudan. Thank you. The next presentation will be remarks from the co-chairpersons of this joint summit of East African Community and Southern African Development Community Summit. The co-chairpersons will be His Excellency Dr. William Samuel Ruto, CGH, President of the Republic of Kenya and Chairperson of East African Community. And the co-chair is His Excellency Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa, President of the Republic of Zimbabwe and Chairperson of Sadec. So we're going to start with remarks from His Excellency Dr. William Samuel Ruto, CGH, President of the Republic of Kenya and Chairperson of the East African Community. Their Excellencies will deliver their remarks from that podium. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency and Co-Chair, Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa, Chairperson of Sadec and President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Excellencies, Heads of State and Government of the East African Community and Sadec member states, Ministers responsible for Foreign Affairs and External Relations of EAC and Sadec, Secretary Generals of Sadec and EAC, distinguished delegates, esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen. I will take this very early opportunity to sincerely thank my dear sister, Excellency Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, President of the United Republic of Tanzania, for hosting this joint summit. After extensive consultations, when I requested her to host this summit, without hesitation, she offered these excellent facilities for us to engage in this exercise. My dear sister, thank you very much. We're truly grateful. Equally important, I appreciate the efforts made by the two regions through their respective communities to mobilize with urgency and convene separate extraordinary summits in order to deliberate on the concerning security situation in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Excellencies, together, we find ourselves standing face to face with a grave and protracted security, diplomatic, and humanitarian crisis in DRC, a situation that demands our immediate, collective, and sustained attention. The East region of DRC has been engulfed in a devastating conflict for over 2 decades now, And this tragedy has claimed thousands of lives, displaced countless civilians, inflicted unbearable suffering and loss, and set back the development momentum of one of the most promising countries in the world. The recent escalation of hostilities in Goma and the surrounding areas of the increasing fragility the situation presents, and that only collective action to facilitate a negotiated solution will offer relief. Today, we join together in order to reiterate our calls to the parties to this tragic conflict to immediately cease hostilities and take positive action to allow meaningful dialogue aimed at restoration of stability. Specifically, we stand together to call on all parties to actualize the ceasefire, and specifically on the M23 to hold further advancement, and the armed forces of DRC to cease all retaliatory measures. An immediate ceasefire is the only way by which we can create necessary conditions for constructive dialogue and implementation of a comprehensive peace agreement. As members of the African Union and United Nations, we stand bound by fundamental principles of respect for the territorial integrity and sovereignty of nations and the principle of good neighborliness. These twin principles are the surest safeguards for the realization of peaceful coexistence. Equally, as responsible members of the international community are bound by the obligation to ensure the safety of diplomatic assets, civilians, and personnel, as well as peacekeepers within our countries. The wanton disregard for the sanctity of life, diplomatic missions, and peacekeeping, and peacekeepers as well, is not only a brazen demonstration of lawless and unprincipled pursuit of violent harm and destruction, it is a grave affront to the rules-based international order. Excellencies, our presence here underscores our consensus that the time for action is now. The lives of millions depends on our ability to navigate this complex and challenging situation with wisdom, clarity of mind, empathy for the millions whose lives and livelihoods have been plunged into uncertainty, concerns for DRC's lost opportunity to accelerate its growth and development, and a steadfast commitment to peace and justice. A terrible yet indisputable act is that the humanitarian cost of the conflict in the DRC has been staggering. Millions of civilians have been displaced and many lives under the persistent threat of violence, including sexual and gender-based violence against women and children, and the recruitment of children to take part in combat. We have a historic opportunity to rise to our moral duty of making the protection of civilians our foremost priority, and of taking measures to ensure that the necessary resources and support are provided. For many well-known reasons, the situation in DRC implicates the broader global community. Therefore, we call upon the international community to step up and do its part in supporting regional efforts in delivering for the DRC, and critically, collaborating with the government of the DRC to deliver support and security to those most in need. It is clear that the conflict in DRC is complex, delicate, protracted, and involves multiple actors pursuing different interests. The issues at stake span a wide historical, economic, and political spectrum, run back in time for many decades, and spill across national and regional borders. There is also a clandestine international dimension at work, whose persistent, cynical, and destructive effects must neither be underestimated or ignored any longer. For this reason, it is equally clear that such a conflict cannot be resolved through military means. We must resist the temptation to think that we can somehow shoot or bombard our way into a solution in the face of such a complex situation. Instead, we have to agree that only a comprehensive diplomatic approach, one that addresses the root causes of the crisis, secures the historical integrity and territorial integrity of DRC, and affirms the sovereignty of its people and their aspirations for freedom, justice, and development. That is what will establish peace, and enduring peace at that, in DRC. Such an approach must also bring together multiple stakeholders, regional states, international bodies, political organizations, civil society groups, and the Congolese government itself to dialogue and collaborate in order to explore, develop, and implement a lasting solution. Excellencies, I am confident that you agree with me that dialogue is not a sign of weakness. It is a testament to our collective wisdom and strength, both as leaders and as communities. It shows our capacity to articulate issues patiently and clearly, listen to each other, consult comprehensively with a common goal in mind, and negotiate patiently until we reach a better outcome than the bitter results of bloodshed. It is in this spirit that we must encourage all parties to put aside their differences and mobilize for engagement in constructive dialogue aimed at achieving the sustainable solution of conflict by peacefully addressing all underlying issues. I believe that we have a singular opportunity to build on the gains and lessons of Luanda and Nairobi peace processes. We have a historic opportunity as the broader neighborhood of the DRC to mobilize our collective will into a fused, single, and coherent initiative towards the resolution of this complex crisis. Such an approach will bring all our assets to bear and minimize the possibility of parallel initiatives that duplicate and undermine progress, including creating unnecessary competition. My dear brothers and sisters, this calls for our unwavering political support. I therefore urge Your Excellencies at this extraordinary joint summit to deploy our best effort and muster our total commitment to facilitate a sustainable settlement that lays the foundation for a stable and prosperous democratic Republic of Congo. I dare say, Excellencies, the situation may be complex, it may be protracted, it may have been with us for years, but I believe the situation in the DRC can be solved, should be solved, and must be solved. For this reason, it may also be prudent for the consolidated single EAC Sadec initiative on this matter to be supported by a strong secretariat that can provide the necessary coordination, monitoring, and enforcement to ensure effective implementation of outcomes. The international community must stand in solidarity with the people of DRC during this time by aligning their support with this initiative. I conclude, Excellencies, by affirming our robust commitment to achieving sustainable peace and development and integration across the region. The security of DRC is essential not only for the stability of the country, but also to the prosperity and cohesion of the entire EAC and Sadec. We call upon all parties to prioritize dialogue, cooperation, and above all, the protection of civilian lives. I thank you once again for being able to be here on this very important mission. It is a historic mission because for the first time, two regional economic blocs come together as a testament of the seriousness of the challenge we face, but also underscoring our commitment to provide leadership to resolve this issue. Thank you very much. May the Almighty God bless all of you and bless our region. Asanteni sana, merci beaucoup, Mayor Brigato. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Dr. William Samuel Ruto, CGH, President of the Republic of Kenya and Chairperson of the East African Community. We're now going to have another statement from His Excellency Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa, President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, who is co-chair to this meeting and Chairperson of the Southern African Development Community. Your Excellency, you may proceed to deliver your remarks. Thank you.
Your Excellency, Mr. William Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya and Chairperson of the East African Community and co-chair of this summit. Your Excellency, Dr. Samia Hassan, President of the United Republic of Tanzania and Chairperson of the Organ on Politics, Defense and Security Cooperation. Your Excellencies, heads of state and government from our regional bodies, honorable ministers who are here, the Sadec Executive Secretary, His Excellency Elias Magosi, the EAC Secretary General, His Excellency Mrs. Veronica Ndua, comrades and friends. It is my distinct honor and privilege to make these remarks of welcome to this historic gathering. Firstly, may I express heartfelt gratitude to you, my dear sister and colleague, Your Excellency, President Dr. Samia Hassan, along with the government and people of the United Republic of Tanzania, for the warm welcome and gracious hospitality extended to my delegation since our arrival in this beautiful city of Dar es Salaam. In the same spirit, I also extend sincere appreciation to my dear brother, Your Excellency, President William Ruto, for your astute leadership for the East African community and for agreeing to meet at short notice. Equally, our respective secretariats, senior officials and Council of Ministers are commended for their diligent work in preparation for this joint summit. Your efforts have laid a solid foundation for our discussions today. Allow me on behalf of Sadec, the government of the Republic of Zimbabwe, and indeed on my own behalf, to once again convey heartfelt condolences and deepest sympathies to the member states and families of the brave peacekeepers who lost their lives in the service of the people of DRC and indeed the cause of peace. We also recognize the loss of civilian lives and livelihoods that has resulted from the increased insecurity and insurgency in eastern DRC. Our prayers continue to be made for the affected families and the communities. Your Excellencies, this historic summit of our two regional blocs is testament to our shared commitment to the founding values of the African Union. Such joint initiatives must see us scale up bold and decisive actions to silence the guns on our continent, but most immediately implement lasting solutions to the escalating conflict and humanitarian crisis in the eastern DRC. Undoubtedly, ongoing instability, growing hostilities, and the ever-increasing number of internally displaced persons in the eastern DRC has far-reaching consequences, not only for the people of DRC alone, but also for our regions and the African continent as a whole. The unity, solidarity, and unbreakable bonds of the peoples of the continent must stand the test of such trying times as we face. We must remain as solidly united as we were during the struggle for complete emancipation and independence of Africa from colonialism. We thus have a duty and a collective responsibility to comprehensively, frankly, tackle and address the various challenges that are impeding the realization of peace and security for the people of Eastern DRC. Drawing from our rich African values and heritage, and further emboldened by the spirit and letter of the United Nations Charter, the Constitutive Act of the African Union, as well as the treaties of both Sadec and the EAC, let us seize this opportunity to ensure convergency and a coordinated response which is mutually reinforcing towards one common objective. I thus challenge all of us to approach the agenda before us with openness, honesty, flexibility, and commitment to building a lasting peace for Mother Africa. The all-encompassing interests of the people of the DRC must be at the core of our deliberations. Let us do much more to realize sustainable peace in our sister republic of the DRC in our lifetime. To date, Sadec notes and acknowledges the progress made under the Luanda and Nairobi processes aimed at silencing the guns, as well as facilitating dialogue among all parties to the conflict. This summit, therefore, should leap us forward towards a concrete roadmap to help resolve the ongoing crisis. As the leaders entrusted to nurture and facilitate unity, peace and development in this era, we cannot let the peoples of our regions down. Their hope is in us here. The Sadec bloc remains unwavering and committed to continue playing its part. With these remarks, I wish the summit fruitful deliberations. I thank you. Asante sana, Tatenda.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Dr. Emmerson Dambuzo Mnangagwa, President of the Republic of Zimbabwe and Chairperson of the Southern African Development Community. We are getting to the end of the official opening ceremony. May I please request that we have 2 rounds of applause for our co-chairpersons for those statements. Thank you. This marks the end of the official opening ceremony, which was open to the media and the invited guests. At this point, we will allow the members of the press to be excused and leave the room so that we allow their excellencies to deliberate on the agenda. The meeting participation is 1+5. Again, we will request delegations that were invited to the official opening, but who are outside the 5 configuration to be excused. As the media is exiting,
Minister, thank you so much for joining us. It's a challenging macro environment, so much uncertainty when it comes to Trump's trade policies, for instance. The IMF has said that, growth for the year is pretty tepid for the world. How are you assessing the growth prospects for Malaysia?
No, I think the important thing is to remember for Malaysia, over the last 2 years, we've been pressing the reset button and looking at how do we rebuild and re-strengthen the economy so that we can increase economic complexity and be able to position Malaysia into a better space in the future. And I think we had a great year last year. GDP growth has come in a lot better than we all forecasted. We've beat the original budget target. Even Bangara revised their outward projection for GDP. And it looks like we'll probably cross 5% overall for the whole of last year. This year, I think that tailwind will still continue. I think we have a good base because foreign direct investments remain strong. And a lot of the activity that's generated is now playing out through the economy. Because of that, I think we are confident that we'll have a good year too this year. In the budget that we put out between 4.5 to 5.5 GDP growth. And I think despite the choppiness in the global market, where we are today, I think we've got enough resilience to ride it through.
I like the optimism. Can you put a number to it? You talk about 4.5 to 5.5%. Closer to 5.5?
Well, this year will be higher than 5. But as most finance ministries are fairly conservative, I think we'll remain above 5.
What do you make of the challenges from trade? I mean, this is a country that's relying on trade. I think it is 60, 70% of GDP. And given that Trump policies could impact global trade, how might that play out for Malaysia?
I think the more important thing to remember, Malaysia is an open trading nation. And effectively what we want is an open market for everybody to participate in. We don't like to choose sides. And I think we've been able to navigate lots of economic positions over all these years and proved the point that we are a fairly open economy. Despite there may be a much tougher stance along the way, the diversity of the Malaysian economy itself